So let's talk about, you brought up a good point in this book, and you go through this with Senators Feinstein and it was Boxer too? Yeah, Senators Boxer and Feinstein. And it's so bad. So I'm so upset that we couldn't retire Senator Boxer and put someone great like Carly Fiorina in there, and hopefully, she'll get another shot to do some serious stuff to help our country out here. But you go through this that there are these earmarks. This is what everyone's talking about now. This pork barrel spending type of stuff. $7.7 million spent on tribally controlled post-secondary vocational institutions authorized by the Perkins blah blah blah. $2.5 million on appropriate technology transfer for rural areas. $1.4 million on San Mateo County Solar Genesis project. $2 million on Acinetobacter. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't even know.
I can't. I mean, I can pronounce almost anything. I can't pronounce that. But look, the bottom line is there's tons and tons of spending and pet projects, and they all defend this one and that one or whatever, but it all adds up. And it basically means simply this. Of course we need government. Of course we need appropriate government spending. Of course there's some public projects that are helpful and beneficial to all of us. But at the end of the day, we are spending so much money that we're taking from our citizens, putting it into Washington, having it being laundered around, quote unquote laundered around, not literally, obviously, or even necessarily figuratively, but in the the term of art of that expression. Having a big expensive party and coming back pennies on the dollar here after they've determined politically what's in their best interest to fund this or that or whatever, instead of letting the markets or the people decide. And that's sort of the problem, right? And I guess what you're saying, bottom line, is we need to get power and money and control and freedom back to the people, and that's what everybody wants. Look, we're all Americans. The government works for us, not vice versa. They need to get it right. There is no elite or ruling class or aristocracy here in America. That's what we broke away from England about, and that's why we started America. So let's talk in this short amount of time that we have here about some solutions. And what do you say in the book, and what do you think we do to get this back? Give us the steps. We want to fix this thing.
Well, one of the first steps that we can do is, of course, cut spending. I mean, right now we have almost $14 trillion debt. We have $56 trillion in where are some of the areas that you would cut, like, off the bat? I mean, you don't have to, like, I'm not going to pretend like you're a 20-year congressman and you have all the line items here, but I mean, just in general, what are some of the big areas? Oh, off the bat, we could definitely cut defense spending. Right now we have a little more over the $1 trillion budget for defense, because we don't need to be everywhere in the world. We can't support.
So pull back a lot of our bases and close some of those things out. Okay.
We're in 135 countries, 700 military bases. We can't keep that up. We can't keep nation building. And
I would agree with that. We can get by with a much smaller international military footprint.
But here's the thing. This is not conservative and this is not liberal. When we're talking about cutting, we're talking about cutting for everybody. We want to cut. You got to start looking at cutting into Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. All these entitlement programs must be cut. All these things that Congress, and then they feel they're untouchable, the things they can't touch, they must be touched, because you may cut $10 billion from a program somewhere else, but that's not the massive problem. The massive problem is $70 trillion in unfunded liabilities.
Well, so here's the thing, right? And I've said this before many times. It's really simple, but it actually all freaking works. And the bottom line is that I've done this in I don't know how much you guys have seen my Ask a Super Genius series, whatever. It's trying to make complex stuff extremely simple and whatever like that. The bottom line is you can sum all this stuff up into this. If you have too much taxation, too much regulation, too much government control, you won't have people working. If you don't have people working, we're not producing stuff. The way you have more money and more production and more jobs is if you have more people producing stuff more efficiently. And being able to produce stuff more efficiently, that means everyone's got to work as much as possible. If you have things done more efficiently, that's usually technology. We're going to talk about that in a second. And so, that also gets to the next point, which is you can't pay people not to work. And that's a catch-all for everything, whether that's illegal immigrants that are not paying in as much taxes as we are, that are basically getting free health care, free schools, all this type of stuff. Doesn't mean that we don't want the people here. I've said I'm all for a super open guest worker program, as much immigration as we can possibly have. We just need to make sure that they're not breaking the laws, that they're not terrorists, and they're paying their taxes. That's all. I'm for. I think America is the land of immigrants, stuff like that. But that also applies to people on Social Security. You know, oh, it's my money. Well, no, a lot of these people are getting back 2, 3, 4 times as much money as they paid in or more because of they're living longer and the benefits keep going up, all that type of stuff. And that could be on unemployment benefits. It could be on extending them more and more and more weeks. I mean, on and on and on. That's not even talking about the waste, fraud, and abuse. That's just talking about you can't pay people to not work. Once you get too much people doing that, it just all breaks down. Now, that's number one. Number two. Number three, technology. Your government trying to regulate everything. Oh, people have to, not eat this, and we need to, green jobs, and so we have to ban all this, raise the price of oil and tax on that, and all that stuff. Well, look. And we needed government to take over healthcare, whatever like that. Technology is the key to everything, right? I'm for clean everything, but I've worked with a lot of companies that are in Silicon Valley and all over that are doing the new technology, that are doing the innovation in this green tech. And I knew that, in my personal opinion, that things were 3, 5, 10 years out, but it's coming because these people know that they're going to be able to make a huge amount of money being able to get into this. And now we're seeing like some of the largest United States solar plants putting out there outside of Las Vegas. We're seeing new fuel cell stuff. We're seeing all kinds of huge advances, and they're going to open up another one, I believe, in California, and one of the biggest ones in the world outside of Arizona. We saw Volkswagen produce a diesel car, the new Blue Motion, whatever, that gets over 1,500 miles to one tank. There's a lot of stuff that's coming out that's going to, and similarly in the medical field, if people find out that if I eat product X, it's going to kill me in 10 years, most rational people aren't going to eat product X anymore. But also, we're getting cures for things now, or advances in things with the genomic testing, with the gene-specific medicines that are targeted for more effectiveness, less side effects. Samely, we just had a situation this week where there's German researchers that claim that they may have possibly cured one man of AIDS. Now, it's a bit of an extreme cure. It's not going to work for a lot of people. But, I mean, we're getting these answers, and we have to do it through technology. And if you have a situation where the government mandates everything, the fear is you're not going to have this innovation. You're not going to have people unleashed to do it. So I've always said, like, hey, if we're all dead set on having the government step in and do something, about global, clean energy, whatever, rather than saying, hey, cap and trade is going to cost America $1 trillion or more, plus or minus, why don't you set up a $10 billion, $20 $20 billion venture fund, and let people go out there and do it through market forces and all that type of stuff? I mean, does this make some sense? Is this what you guys cover in the book?
Yeah, one of the things I like to brush up on is when you were talking about technology, I was just thinking about the auto bailouts. They bail out GM, they bail out Ford. And by doing that, what they did was stifle the free market, because what the free market does is they kick out things that don't work and they put in things that do work. And by bailing out those companies, they've made it a lot they made it more inefficient to build cars that people want. And
what it comes down to is the free market is the tell-all. The free market knows what should be in and what shouldn't be in. No politician in Washington knows what's right for the people and what's not right for the people. But they act like they know everything, like they're these geniuses and they're the tell-all.
And things change fast. Take mobile phones, for instance. And I'll say this very quickly, and we have to wrap up here. Today, you may want, a year ago, you may have wanted an iPhone. Maybe even 6 months ago. Now you probably want an Android. And maybe, right? And that's just a generic big class of phones. And then maybe it's an iPad, and maybe it's the HTC, and maybe the next year it's a Samsung. And, the government can't react that fast. You have to be nimble, and the market handles that.
Okay, when it comes to it, is the perfect example I like to get in the difference between healthcare and the free market. With healthcare, everyone asks why prices are all going up. It's because the government is involved. You look in the places where government
Same with tuition.
You look at the places where the government is not involved, the quality gets better and the price goes down. Whether it's cell phones, whether it's TVs, whether it's plastic surgery. These are all places where the government is not involved.
Well, and there's a simple reason, because people have to pay for it and continue to pay for it. And if you don't have a market for it, then people are going to vote with their feet and dollars and go away. But when government messes up, they're still there, and that's the sort of problem. Hey, listen. This has been a very fast hour. You guys are fantastic. We've been talking with Kyler Carlisle and Ralph Price. They wrote this book. It's called Don't Blink. You can go to don'tblinkbook.com. These two young men are 16 years old. They're high school juniors, and they obviously are very smart. They know a lot, and they may not have all the answers. They may not have all the opinions that you like, but they have done some research here. It's in black and white. It's 282 pages. It's $11.99. Makes a fantastic Christmas gift. And what it does is it opens the conversation. They have the information there. It gets you to think about it, to talk about it, and that's what we need to do. Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can look at interested in. There's more than just the issues too. We went in here, we talked about the ignorance of the youth, indoctrination. We did actual interviews with fellow students of ours, so you can see what's happening in the United States with the information on a younger level.
What I love about this, and that's so important, you need to understand, hey, if you want something for your kids to get them involved, this is how you can get them involved right here. Go to don'tblinkbook.com. They sponsored the show, gold sponsor for this week. Fantastic, guys. Great job. I appreciate you guys getting involved and doing something here. And again, it gets the conversation going. This helps get the youth involved. I love it. It's fantastic. We're going to have these videos up on Conservative New Media on our YouTube channel, and we're going to cut some additional videos with you.